The movie starts with a very important day for every man, his wedding day. Ruben Pfeffer is a life insurance risk analyst. His longtime friend Sandy asks him a very important question. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Ruben replies, "I don't have the slightest doubt," before even realizing how it will turn out. Overall, the wedding goes off without any adventures, and the couple is officially married. Honeymoon time arrives. The couple arrive on the island of St. Bart's, Ruben carrying his wife in his arms, but he leaves Lisa behind after a lizard lands on her. They walk toward the beach, where Ruben tells her that he has bought a house for the two of them. Suddenly, a nudist French scuba diving instructor approaches them and asks if they want a new experience in their lives. But the couple refuses, whereupon the instructor approaches the other beach vacationers. At this point, Ruben comes up with a surprise for Lisa, and since they are around all the time, there is no way to do it secretly. He catches up with the instructor and asks him to take care of his young wife. He agrees and says that he can rely on him. The instructor literally knocks Lisa down, grabs her and drags her to his boat. But Ruben doesn't see any red flags in this. Anyway, he goes back to pick up his wife after planning a romantic night out. But to his surprise, he sees a Mr. Scuba instructor at a hard work with his wife, but really in the wrong ocean. He catches them at this activity. On shore, Ruben tries to attack the instructor but fails miserably. Clearly furious, he packs up his things, ready to leave the island, and asks Lisa to never come back to him. At that moment, Ruben messes up the gears on the car and drives backwards, knocking down a fence. He returns to the office. After arriving, everyone knows what happened because of his mother. His boss tells him that he realized what this girl was really about the second he met her, back at his wedding. His boss also says it's all nonsense and he needs to be a real man. And also that if he keeps working as hard as he does, he'll get a promotion. Ruben comes home and watches the wedding tape. At that moment, his friend Sandy comes in and tries to comfort his friend. He says that he needs to get away, have some fun, find a new girl to forget Lisa. Later that night, Sandy takes Ruben to an art exhibit so he can get his mind off of thoughts of Lisa. Suddenly, he meets his former classmate named Polly. They're surprised to see each other because after school they had not communicated and everyone thought they lived in different cities. As they are talking, Sandy walks up. Ruben introduces them, but Sandy says they have to leave because he has stomach problems. The next day, we cut to them playing basketball, and Ruben says he's ready to move on with Polly after confronting her last night. Sandy says that one is in too much of a hurry and he shouldn't lock his feelings on the first person he meets. He advises him to get to know his partner better this time before starting a long relationship. Ruben agrees. Back at his apartment, he manages to get Polly's phone number and address and decides to call her. But when she picks up, he hangs up on her. The next day, he goes to her neighborhood, actually stalking her, and then pretends he was just passing by. He asks her out on a date. However, she is a little hesitant, so he gives her his card just in case. Surprisingly, Polly actually calls him and in doing so, sets up a date herself at a Moroccan restaurant. Right after work, Ruben rushes to meet Sandy and tell him about the date. Sandy is happy for him, but tells him not to worry because this is not the last girl in his life and he should not expect anything more. Ruben listens to his opinion, but he thinks they can be more than just friends. Ruben and Polly finally meet at a restaurant. But because of Ruben's bowel problems, he feels extremely uncomfortable and wants to leave as soon as possible. But because of his feelings for Polly, he decides to stay. He attempts to go to the toilet in the restaurant, but it is occupied. The two of them end up at Polly's, where he meets her blind pet ferret and asks to use the bathroom. He turns on the shower so she won't hear him. When it comes time to wipe himself, there's no paper. He thinks about using the ferret, but then stops at a towel. This guy tries to flush the towel down the toilet. Apparently it won't flush, and he starts casting all sorts of spells. When the toilet water seeps in, Polly opens the door and finds that Ruben has broken her toilet. I don't know how, but somehow she gives him another chance. On their next date, they run into Ruben's parents. His mom is one of those people who talks all the time and can't shut up for a minute. And his dad is a man of few words. Polly learns from Ruben's mom that he is actually married and his wife cheated on him 2 weeks ago on their honeymoon. Ruben sarcastically thanks his mother for this secret. After dinner, they immediately agree on their next date. Polly also says she is sorry about what happened to his ex-wife. A few days later, they go on another date. Ruben can't dance at all, but because of his modesty, he didn't say so. He also didn't learn his lesson the first time and allows the other man to ask his lady for a passionate dance. And now he has to just watch them dance. Eventually, he gets bored and confesses to Polly that he hates spicy food and doesn't like to take risks. She is glad that he finally has the courage to tell her the truth about himself and open up to her at least a little. They go back to her house together, and Polly goes to shower and Ruben stays waiting for her on the bed. When she gets out of the shower, they finally do it, although Ruben has to sweat. Polly liked everything, and that's the main thing. Ruben can be proud of himself. Ruben tells everything to his friend Sandy. Polly tell all to her friend too. They spend the evening together already at Ruben's. They decide to have fun and tear up the pillows, throwing feathers and fluff all over the room. They go on another dance date, and Ruben watches Polly dance with the same guy again. He's had enough and confronts Javier, telling him to stay away from Polly and find another dance partner. Ruben talks to his boss during a tense and aggressive game of tennis. They both let off so much steam and let problems go. The boss talks again about Ruben's promotion if he keeps up the good work. They spend the next date first in a restaurant, talking and gradually opening up to each other. Then they go dancing again. Ruben has prepared for this in advance, having had several sessions with a trainer. Now he is greatly surprised not only Polly, but also all the people around him with his skills work. Lisa returns thinking she can just come in and get back in touch with Ruben, thinking he's a simpleton. She says she made a huge mistake and only now realizes what kind of mistake. She also promises to never hurt him again. But the next day, she pulls a sentimental prank by sending him a gift, which actually causes Ruben to change his mind and enter Polly and Lisa's data into his risk analysis program, in which Polly has less of a chance. Ruben calls Polly and invites her to go sailing in the ocean. She says she'll think about it. Polly joins him on a sailing trip where he plans to ask her to move in with him. But she sees the risk analysis he has done and rejects his proposal to move in together. Polly has commitment issues and tells Ruben that he would be better off going back to Lisa. They fight and work things out between each other during the curtain call. It ends up breaking off their communication and the ship sinks and they make it to shore by boat. Back home, he tries to call Polly several times but gets a cold reception. She doesn't even want to talk to him because he has hurt her without even realizing it. In this moment of confusion and stupidity, he invites Lisa to Sandy's open game, where Javier informs Ruben that Polly is leaving town in a few hours. After his father's speech brings some sanity back to Ruben, he makes a final decision about Lisa. He says he's not going to see her and she'd be better off out of his life. Ruben rushes to catch Polly before she leaves, but he misses her because he doesn't have time. She eventually returns because she has forgotten her favorite ferret and finds Ruben with it. She tells him it's too late, but he wins her favor by eating nuts off the floor to prove he's willing to take risks and tells her they should take their time with their relationship. They go to the same island where Ruben had his honeymoon, and you'll never guess who they run into again. That's right, the same instructor, and he offers them scuba diving again, but this time they refuse definitively. That's all for today. What do you think of this movie? Write your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more such videos.